friends are since.
Hey, so tonight what I'm going to be doing is working on one of my 2-hour tunes projects, which is where I basically try and write a bit of music in as short a period as possible and get a finished track that I can use. The idea generally is that by the end of this I'll have a whole bunch of them that I'll put out maybe on an album or something, but it's kind of an exercise in, minimalism and not overthinking things, including with how I film this and process it and everything. I want to just make things as quick as possible. So what I'm doing for this particular tune is I am writing some drum patterns in XO on my MacBook because I can do things pretty quickly on there. I've kind of modified one of the internal preset patterns and changed things about, changed the samples and stuff, and I've got this. Not bad, it's at 97 BPM. I then export the stems, as you can see here. And then what I'm going to do now is basically just make some variations of the pattern. You can change the different patterns here, and I'll get a few different kind of patterns, and then what I'm going to do is go through, play about with some synthesizers. The main synthesizer that I'm going to use for this particular project, or this song, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, is the Behringer MonoPoly. I got this a couple of weeks ago before I went on tour, but I haven't had much of a chance to play with it yet, and I'm pretty excited about it because it sounds pretty amazing. I'm also going to be trying out the Old Blood Noise Endeavours Churches collaboration, which is a screen violence pedal. By the time you see this, it will have come out, but at this point, it's not out yet for another week or so, so that's pretty exciting, and I want to try it out before I do a demo video on it. That's going to be the main constituent components of the track, and then I'm going to write some vocals. So, going to go play about with the drums, and then record some stuff with the MonoPoly and see where we get to. So I've got my 4 different patterns. I'm going to stick with 4 to make it fairly simple. I don't want to overcomplicate things. I don't really know if I'm going to use all these drums. I'm probably going to chop things up and take some of the snares from these bits out, or move the kick drum over, and I guess I'll see what kind of thing I come up with from the MonoPoly, and then go from there. Pesh, pesh, pesh. Okay, so in 45 minutes what I've done is recorded a few different variations of drum beats using XO. I've also recorded a few different synth lines on the MonoPoly. I've kind of got a rough idea of different song sections, and I'm going to layer things up a wee bit, and then it'll come on to the hardest bit, or the most time consuming bit, which is writing the vocals, because that takes a bit more concerted effort. Usually what I've been doing with these tunes recently when I'm doing the 2-hour thing is I will write a drum pattern, and then I'll think of some kind of a melody or something with my vocal first before I do any synth work. But in this time, I've kind of fucked it up because I've done it the other way around. So I need to now match the vocals to the music, which can be a lot harder, I think, personally. This might not be very good. just explain what I'm doing in terms of the vocals. Me and my friend Keith and the band Closet Organ, we have a big list of song titles and interesting kind of words and phrases and stuff that we come across that we think are, you know, interesting or funny or whatever. And so every so often, whenever I'm writing songs or trying to think of lyrics, I'll look in there and see if anything inspires me. Today I found a bit of text or whatever that was called Chill Craig and Go Fish. I can't really remember where this came from. Anyway, I've kind of found a wee bit of a vocal melody, which is good because that means that I can now start to build up the lines around it. Because Chill Craig and Go Fish doesn't really mean anything, I'm going to have to kind of come up with a story in order to write the song. And some of the tools I kind of use to do that are rhyming dictionaries and also thesauruses, not because they tell you what to say or anything, but because it can help jog your memory. So I'm going to basically write lyrics for the verses, as it were, or at least one section of the song, then see if I can write a different vocal melody for the next bit. I'll record the vocals, and then I'll layer everything up, and then that'll kind of be it, maybe? I think that's about all I've got time for in this 2-hour window. But part of the whole reason I'm doing this is to try and stimulate my vocal melody writing muscles and see what I can come up with in a short space of time. Maybe not very much. So chill, crank, and go fish! My self-imposed deadline of roughly 2 hours is pretty much coming to an end at this point, and for some god-forsaken reason, I decided that rather than writing a second verse, or just a verse in general, I would do some kind of spoken word thing. It's not something I've ever really done before, partly because I don't really like hearing my voice talk in a song, and I'm quite self-conscious about that for whatever reason, which is kind of stupid if you think about it. However, in the interest of transparency and sticking to the kind of confines of this experiment, I'm not going to do anything else. I can't really do anything else without starting again. So even though I hate it, or kind of, I'm not really sure if I hate it, I'm just not really sure if I like it, I'm just going to finish it there and play it out, and perhaps tomorrow I'll regret doing this. I certainly regret going through the process for this particular song. But that's it. That's another 2-hour tune. The whole idea behind doing this is to try and see what I can and can't do in 2 hours. So if the quality isn't particularly great, then I guess that shows what I can't do. At least I got to play about with the MonoPoly and my new pedal. It's not my finest work. Wonder about what it means to truly relax. That perhaps for some people a heightened sense of awareness is actually more pleasing to their soul than slowing down. After all, relaxation simply equates to nothingness. And why are we so obsessed with achieving that? Ultimately, it's just the quest, the race for oblivion. There's this medical phenomenon called the paradox of relaxation, where certain people experience a spike of anxiety when undergoing treatment designed to do the exact opposite. Rather than feeling calmed by the process of relaxation, these individuals feel even more intensely uneasy than they did before. The more I think about it, the more I think that they might